If an elderly person starts showing this before the age of 70, a subtle change in behavior, energy, or physical strength, it might seem harmless at first, but it isn't. This could be the body's way of warning that something deeper is happening inside, and if ignored, they may not survive the next few years. Have you ever seen something like this? Share your experience in the comments. It could help someone else notice the signs in time.
Have you ever wondered if that person you love most is showing silent signs that they might not be here in the next few years? I'm Dr. Vasconcelos, and in over 20 years of caring for folks over 60, I've discovered something that keeps me up at night. There's a set of warning signs that show up before age 70. So subtle they fly under the radar, but they're like a red alarm bell going off. These signs aren't in your basic medical textbooks. They're not taught in med school like they should be, and most doctors completely ignore how important they are. When I see these signs in someone, I know I need to act fast because the clock is ticking against us. You know what they say, time waits for no one, and boy, is that true when it comes to our health. Modern medical science has found that our bodies start warning us about serious problems about 5 to 7 years before they show up for real. These warnings don't come as chest pain or being out of breath big time. They come much more quietly, through changes that seem like normal aging, but are actually desperate cries from our bodies asking for help. The problem is, when we ignore these signs, we lose the most precious window we have, the ability to turn around processes that could be deadly. As they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that couldn't be more true here. Throughout this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what to look for, why these signs are so dangerous, and most importantly, what you can do about it right now. But here's the thing, what I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've probably heard before. Stick with me until the end, because I promise you, this information could literally save your life or the life of someone you care about. Don't you dare hit that back button, because what comes next will blow your mind. Let me tell you something that'll knock your socks off. There's a hidden health crisis happening right under our noses, and it's targeting people in their 60s like never before. The Centers for Disease Control has data that shows something pretty scary. People who show certain combinations of seemingly innocent symptoms before age 70 have a mortality rate that's through the roof compared to those who don't. We're talking about a difference that could mean the world to your family. But here's the kicker. These symptoms are so common that most folks just brush them off as getting older. You know how people say, well, what do you expect at my age? That attitude right there is what's killing people. The first sign I want you to pay attention to is what we call micro-fatigue episodes. Now, I'm not talking about being tired after a long day or feeling sleepy after dinner. I'm talking about sudden waves of exhaustion that hit you out of nowhere, lasting anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, and then you feel fine again. Most people think, oh, I just need more coffee, or I didn't sleep well last night. But what's really happening is your cardiovascular system is struggling to maintain proper oxygen delivery to your vital organs. Your heart is working overtime, but it's not pumping efficiently. This creates these waves of fatigue as your body tries to compensate. The scariest part? This can happen for months or even years before you have any chest pain or obvious heart problems. It's like your body is saying, Houston, we have a problem, but in Morse code instead of screaming. And here's something that'll really get your attention. If you're having these episodes more than twice a week, your risk of a major cardiac event in the next 3 to 5 years jumps by over 300%. That's not a typo, folks. 300%. Now, before you panic, let me hit that like button if this is making sense to you so far, because what I'm about to tell you next is even more important. Now, here's where things get really interesting, and I mean really interesting. There's a connection between these fatigue episodes and subtle memory changes that most people completely miss. I'm not talking about forgetting where you put your keys or walking into a room and forgetting why you went there. Everybody does that, right? What I'm talking about is something much more specific and much more dangerous. It's called executive function decline, and it shows up in ways that seem totally normal, but are actually red flags waving in the wind. For example, you might start having trouble following complex conversations, especially when there's background noise, or you might find yourself getting confused with tasks you've done 1,000 times, like balancing your checkbook or following a recipe. The reason this happens is because your brain isn't getting the steady supply of oxygen and nutrients it needs. Remember those micro-fatigue episodes I mentioned? Well, when your heart isn't pumping efficiently, your brain is one of the first organs to feel it. But here's the thing that'll really blow your mind. This isn't just about memory. When executive function starts to decline, it affects your ability to make good decisions about your health. You might start skipping medications, ignoring symptoms, or making poor choices about diet and exercise. It's like a domino effect that just keeps getting worse. Studies from Johns Hopkins show that people who experience both micro-fatigue and executive function changes have a 7 times higher risk of developing dementia within 5 years. 7 times. That's not just a number, that's a life changer. But wait, there's more, and this is where it gets really scary. These brain changes also affect something called interoception. That's your body's ability to sense what's going on inside itself. When interoception is impaired, you stop feeling the early warning signs of heart attacks, strokes, and other emergencies. It's like your body's alarm system gets turned off, right when you need it most. You might be wondering, Doc, how do I know if this is happening to me? Well, stick around because I'm about to tell you exactly what to look for. And trust me, you don't want to miss this next part. All right, buckle up, Buttercup, because what I'm about to tell you is going to change everything you thought you knew about aging and health. There's something happening inside your body right now that's like a slow-burning fire, and most people have no idea it's there until it's too late. It's called chronic systemic inflammation, and it's the real villain in this story. Now, you've heard about inflammation before. It's what happens when you cut yourself or sprain an ankle. Your body sends in the cavalry to fight off infection and heal the damage. That's good inflammation, the kind that saves your life. But there's another kind of inflammation that's like a house guest who overstays their welcome and starts trashing the place. This chronic inflammation doesn't have an off switch, and it's slowly destroying your organs from the inside out. Here's what's really wild. This inflammation often starts in your gut, believe it or not. Changes in your digestive system, things like occasional heartburn, bloating after meals, or changes in your bathroom habits, can be early signs that inflammation is spreading throughout your body. Most folks just pop an antacid or figure it's something they ate, but what's really happening is your immune system is going haywire. The lining of your intestines becomes permeable. We call it leaky gut, and toxins that should stay in your digestive system start leaking into your bloodstream. Your immune system sees these toxins as invaders and launches an attack. But here's the problem. It can't tell the difference between the real bad guys and your own healthy tissue, so it starts attacking everything, including your heart, your brain, your joints, and your blood vessels. This is why people with chronic inflammation develop multiple health problems at the same time. It's not bad luck, it's biology. The scary part is that this inflammation can be detected in blood tests years before you develop obvious symptoms. C-reactive protein, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, and interleukin-6 levels all start climbing long before you feel sick. But most doctors only check these when you're already having problems. By then, it might be too late to stop the damage. If you're getting value from this information, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because what comes next is going to save lives. Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of this whole situation, and let me tell you, it's not pretty. While that inflammation is doing its dirty work, something else is happening that's like a perfect storm brewing in your body. Your circulation, the highway system that delivers life to every cell in your body, starts breaking down in ways that are almost invisible until they're not. You know how they say, you're only as old as your arteries? Well, turns out that's not just some old wives' tale. It's medical fact. Your blood vessels are like garden hoses, and as we age, they start getting stiff and narrow. But here's what most people don't realize. This process speeds up dramatically when you have chronic inflammation. It's like pouring concrete into those hoses. The medical term is endothelial dysfunction, and it's a fancy way of saying the inner lining of your blood vessels stops working properly. These blood vessels are supposed to dilate and contract like a heartbeat, pumping blood to where it needs to go. But when inflammation damages the endothelium, they lose this ability. Blood starts moving slower, oxygen delivery drops, and waste products start building up in your tissues. This is why you might notice that cuts and bruises take longer to heal, or why you feel cold in your hands and feet, even when it's warm outside. Your body is literally starving for oxygen and nutrients at the cellular level. But here's the real kicker. This circulation problem affects your kidneys in a major way. Your kidneys filter about 50 gallons of blood every single day, cleaning out toxins and waste products. When circulation is poor, your kidneys can't do their job properly. Toxins start building up in your bloodstream, and your blood pressure starts rising as your kidneys desperately try to get more blood flow. High blood pressure isn't just a number on a machine, it's your kidneys screaming for help. And when your kidneys are struggling, everything else starts falling apart too. Your heart has to work harder, your brain gets less oxygen, and your liver becomes overwhelmed trying to process all the toxins your kidneys can't handle. It's like a domino effect that just keeps getting worse and worse. The most frightening part, all of this can be happening while your regular blood tests come back normal. That's because most standard tests don't look for the early signs of circulation problems. Hold. Onto your hat, because we're about to dive into something that's going to make your head spin. Everything I've told you so far, the fatigue, the brain fog, the inflammation, the circulation problems, they're all connected to something bigger. Something that's like the master switch controlling your entire body's ability to function. It's called metabolic dysfunction. And when it goes wrong, it's like watching a house of cards collapse in slow motion. Your metabolism isn't just about how fast you burn calories or whether you gain weight. It's about how efficiently every single cell in your body converts food into energy. Think of it like the engine in your car. When it's running smooth, everything works great. But when it starts breaking down, you don't just lose power. You start damaging other parts of the car too. In your body, metabolic dysfunction shows up in ways that seem totally unrelated, but are actually all connected. You might notice that you can't handle stress like you used to. Little things that never bothered you before start feeling overwhelming. You might find yourself getting irritated or anxious for no good reason. Your sleep patterns might change. Either you can't fall asleep, or you wake up multiple times during the night, or you sleep for 8 hours but still feel tired. These aren't just signs of getting older or being stressed out. These are signs that your cells are struggling to produce energy efficiently. When your metabolism is broken, your cells start producing less ATP. That's the chemical that powers everything in your body. It's like trying to run a factory with a power plant that's only working at half capacity. Everything slows down, everything becomes less efficient, and eventually, things start breaking down. But here's what's really scary. Metabolic dysfunction creates a vicious cycle. The worse your metabolism gets, the more inflammation you have. The more inflammation you have, the worse your circulation gets. The worse your circulation gets, the more your metabolism suffers. It's like being stuck in quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. And here's something that'll really get your attention. People with metabolic dysfunction have a mortality rate that's absolutely shocking. We're talking about a condition that affects over 60% of people over 65, but most people have never even heard of it. Don't go anywhere, because what I'm about to reveal next could literally add years to your life. Now we're getting into territory that most doctors won't talk about, but I'm going to lay it all out for you because your life might depend on it. There's a hormone storm happening in your body right now, and it's not just about menopause or low testosterone. I'm talking about a complete breakdown of your body's chemical communication system, and it's happening to both men and women in ways that are absolutely mind-blowing. Your hormones are like text messages between different parts of your body. When everything's working right, your brain sends signals to your thyroid talks to your adrenal glands communicate with your pancreas and so on. It's like a perfectly choreographed dance. But when chronic inflammation and metabolic dysfunction kick in, it's like all these hormones start speaking different languages. Nothing gets communicated properly, and chaos ensues. Here's something that'll knock your socks off. Your stress. Hormone cortisol, when it's elevated for long periods, literally shrinks your brain. I'm not exaggerating. MRI studies show that people with chronic stress have smaller hippocampus regions. That's the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. But cortisol doesn't just affect your brain. It also messes with your blood sugar, breaks down muscle tissue, suppresses your immune system, and disrupts your sleep cycles. It's like having a wrecking ball loose in your body. And here's the really scary part. Cortisol levels naturally rise as we age, but when you add inflammation and metabolic problems to the mix, they can go through the roof. People with chronically elevated cortisol have a mortality rate that's off the charts compared to people with normal levels. But cortisol isn't the only hormone going haywire. Your insulin, the hormone that controls blood sugar, starts becoming less effective. This isn't just about diabetes. When your cells become resistant to insulin, it affects everything from your energy levels to your ability to build and maintain muscle mass. Your growth hormone production, which helps repair tissues and maintain bone density, drops dramatically. Your thyroid hormones, which control your metabolism, become imbalanced. It's like your body's entire operating system is crashing. The most frightening part is that hormone problems create a cascade effect. When one hormone is out of whack, it throws off all the others. It's like pulling one thread and watching the whole sweater unravel. If this is hitting home for you, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because what comes next is going to change everything. All right, folks, we've talked about the warning signs, we've talked about the systems breaking down, but now I need to tell you what's happening at the most basic level, inside your cells themselves. This is where the rubber meets the road, where all these problems I've been describing come together in a way that's absolutely terrifying. Your cells are like tiny factories, and inside each factory there are structures called mitochondria. These are the powerhouses that produce energy for everything your body does. Think of them like the engines in your car. When they're running smooth, everything works great. But when they start breaking down, you're in for a world of trouble. Here's what happens when chronic inflammation, poor circulation, metabolic dysfunction, and hormone imbalances all converge on your mitochondria. They start dying. It's called mitochondrial dysfunction, and it's like watching the lights go out in a city during a power outage. When your mitochondria can't produce energy efficiently, every single process in your body slows down. Your heart muscle can't contract as strongly. Your brain can't think as clearly. Your immune system can't fight off infections. Your muscles can't repair themselves after exercise. Your liver can't detoxify your blood properly. It's like your body is slowly shutting down from the inside out. But here's the real kicker. When mitochondria are damaged, they don't just stop working. They start producing something called reactive oxygen species. Basically, they start spitting out toxic waste products that damage other parts of the cell. It's like having a factory that's not only stopped producing what you need, but is now actively poisoning the neighborhood. This cellular damage accumulates over time, and it's what we call aging. But it's not really aging, it's actually cellular breakdown that could be prevented, or even reversed if caught early enough. The scariest part is that mitochondrial dysfunction happens gradually. You don't wake up one day and suddenly feel terrible. Instead, you slowly lose energy, slowly lose mental clarity, slowly lose physical strength, and slowly lose the ability to recover from stress or illness. By the time you notice something seriously wrong, the damage might be too extensive to fully repair. But here's something that'll give you hope. Your body has an amazing ability to create new mitochondria and repair damaged ones, but only if you give it the right conditions. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes? Here's where things get really serious, and I need you to pay close attention, because this could be the most important information you ever hear. There's a point in this whole process where your body crosses a line, and once you cross that line, there's no going back. It's like falling off a cliff. Once you're in free fall, there's not much you can do to stop what's coming. Medical researchers have identified what they call the tipping point. It's the moment when all these systems we've been talking about become so damaged that they can't support each other anymore. Your heart can't pump efficiently enough to deliver oxygen to your brain. Your brain can't function well enough to make good decisions about your health. Your hormones are so out of whack that your body can't respond to stress. Your cells are so damaged that they can't repair themselves. Your immune system is so compromised that it can't fight off infections. It's like a perfect storm where everything goes wrong at once. The most terrifying part is that this tipping point often happens around age 70 to 75, but the processes that lead to it start years earlier. That's why I titled this video the way I did. If you're showing these signs before age 70, you might be heading toward that point of no return faster than you think. But here's the thing, and this is where there's still hope. If you catch these problems early enough, you can not only stop the progression, you can actually reverse a lot of the damage. Your body has an incredible ability to heal itself when given the right tools and conditions. The question is, do you have the courage to take action, or are you going to ignore the warning signs like so many people do? In my next video, I'm going to reveal the exact protocol I use with my patients to reverse these processes and add healthy years to their lives. It's not what you think, and it goes against everything you've probably been told about aging and health. But the results speak for themselves. People who follow this protocol are literally turning back the clock on their biological age. Some of my patients have reversed decades of damage in just months. But this information is so powerful and so different from conventional medicine that I almost didn't make this video. The medical establishment doesn't want you to know these secrets because they threaten a multi-billion-dollar industry built on keeping people sick and dependent on medications. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because this next video might not stay up for long, and what I'm about to share could literally save your life or the life of someone you love.